My mother-in-law brought my husband's ex-girlfriend into my house. If I had known that saying no to my mother-in-law would lead to her moving into my home, I would have recorded that conversation just to play it back for myself in disbelief. Because, honestly, even now, I still can't believe the audacity of this woman. But let me start at the beginning, before the invasion, before the manipulation, before I found myself living with a woman who seemed hell-bent on ruining my life. My name's Emily. I've been married to Matt for 5 years. We're a solid team, we both work hard, and we bought our 3-bedroom apartment together. It's not a mansion, but it's ours. We scrimped, saved, sacrificed, and I love every inch of it. The problem? My mother-in-law, Linda, does not. Linda thinks our apartment should belong to someone more deserving. Specifically, her golden child, Brittany. Brittany, my sister-in-law, has never worked a day in her life. She has 3 kids by 2 different men, lives off government benefits, and somehow always has the money to get her nails done and buy the latest iPhone. And Linda? She thinks Brittany walks on water. Now, Linda and I have never been close. She tolerated me at best, probably because I stole her son. But lately, things have gotten worse. A few weeks ago, she invited Matt and me over for dinner. At first, it seemed normal enough. Dry roast chicken. Passive-aggressive comments about how I still haven't given her grandchildren. The usual. But then, out of nowhere, she set down her wine glass, smiled like she was bestowing a gift upon us, and said, "I have a wonderful idea for you too." And just like that, my stomach sank. Because when Linda has a wonderful idea, it's never wonderful for me. There are moments in life when you just know something terrible is coming. Like when you hear a crash in the other room, but you're too afraid to look. That was me, sitting at Linda's dining table, gripping my fork, bracing for whatever nonsense was about to leave her mouth.
She smiled at me.
I smiled back, out of sheer survival instinct. And then she dropped the bomb. "You too should give your apartment to Brittany." I blinked. Surely I misheard her. "I'm sorry, what?" Linda let out a dramatic sigh, like I was a slow child struggling with basic math. "You and Matt don't have kids. Brittany does. 3 of them. It only makes sense that she has the bigger apartment. You two can move into a nice little 1-bedroom. I stared. I actually couldn't form words for a second. My brain refused to process the audacity.
Matt?
He was staring at his plate, like it held the answers to life's biggest questions. Of course. Because when Linda says something insane, he just shuts down. Meanwhile, Brittany just sat there, smirking, like this was already a done deal. I took a deep breath. "Linda," I said, keeping my voice calm, "we bought that apartment. With our own money." Linda waved a hand. "Yes, but Brittany needs it." Like that settled the matter. I laughed. I actually laughed. "That's not how this works." Her eyes narrowed. "You're being selfish, Emily." And that's when I knew this wasn't just a suggestion. Linda fully expected me to agree. She expected me to smile, nod, and hand over my home like a good little daughter-in-law. But there was no way in hell that was happening. You know that feeling when you hear something so absurd, so completely unhinged, that your brain just freezes? That was me, sitting in Linda's overly perfumed dining room, blinking at her in stunned silence. Give our apartment to Brittany? Just because she has kids? Now, I'm no stranger to Linda's nonsense. The woman has always played favorites. And by favorites, I mean Brittany can do no wrong, while Matt is basically an afterthought. I should have seen this coming. Like when Matt and I got engaged. Linda barely reacted.
No congratulations. No excitement.
Meanwhile, when Brittany got pregnant with her first child by a guy who disappeared before the baby was even born, Linda threw a full-blown party. Or the time Matt and I were scraping by, eating ramen and cutting every expense possible just to save for a down payment. That's when Brittany suddenly needed help with rent. And Linda? She drained her savings to bail her out, then turned around and told us that we should have offered to help, too. But this was next-level insanity. I glanced at Matt, begging him with my eyes to say something. Anything. But of course, he just cleared his throat and mumbled, Mom, I don't think. Linda cut him off instantly. Oh, Matthew, you never think long term. I do. Brittany and the kids are struggling. A family should step up. Oh, now we're family? I set my fork down, forcing myself to stay calm. We're not giving away our apartment, Linda. She sniffed, swirling her wine. I raised Matt better than this. No, she didn't.
I did.
Brittany let out a dramatic sigh. You don't need that much space, Emily. You don't even have kids. And there it was. The unspoken accusation that had been thrown my way for years. Linda had always been passive-aggressive about the fact that I hadn't had children yet. When are you going to do your duty? She'd say, like I owed her grandkids. Or the time she not so subtly suggested Matt should have married someone more maternal. I took a deep breath. Brittany, our home isn't up for discussion. Linda's eyes darkened.
So that's it?
You're just going to let your family suffer? I laughed. I couldn't help it. Linda, Brittany doesn't work. She chooses not to work. Brittany gasped like I had slapped her. I'm a mother. My kids need me. And yet, somehow, you always have time to get your nails done and go on girls' trips. She turned bright red. How dare you? But Linda cut in, her voice sharp. I am so disappointed in you, Emily. I thought you understood family values. I tilted my head. Oh, I do. I shot back. I just don't believe in being taken advantage of. And that was it. That was the moment I officially became public enemy number one. Linda shoved her chair back, standing dramatically.
Fine.
If that's how you feel, I'll remember this. Brittany folded her arms. So will I. Matt, finally finding his voice, muttered. Mom, come on. But it was too late. Linda had already stormed off to the kitchen, slamming cabinets like that would somehow change my mind. I turned to Matt, exhausted. Are you going to say anything?
He sighed.
I don't want to fight with her. Of course not. Because fighting with Linda is never fun. I thought that was the end of it. I was so wrong. Because 2 weeks later, Linda showed up at our doorstep.
Suitcases in hand.
Smiling. I gave my apartment to Brittany, she announced. So I'll be staying here, with you. And just like that, my nightmare officially began. There are bad days. There are really bad days. And then, there's the day your manipulative nightmare of a mother-in-law shows up at your door with 2 giant suitcases, smiling like she's doing you a favor. Linda stood there, waiting for me to thank her for gracing us with her presence. I gave Brittany my apartment, she repeated, like that somehow explained anything. So I'll be staying here now. I looked at Matt, expecting, no, praying, that he would step up and say something. But instead, he just shifted awkwardly and mumbled. Mom, you didn't even ask us. Linda gasped dramatically, clutching her chest like he'd just stabbed her. Matthew, I raised you. I sacrificed everything for you. And now I need help, and you're acting like I'm a burden. Matt shrank, looking at me helplessly.
Oh, my God.
I crossed my arms. Linda, you chose to give your apartment to Brittany. That was your decision. She waved a dismissive hand. And now I've made another decision. This is my home now. And before I could even process that level of audacity, she walked in, just strolled right past me, dragging her suitcases over my floors. Like she owned the place. The first sign that this was going to be a disaster? She started unpacking. In our bedroom, I caught her mid-action, stacking her floral blouses in my dresser. What are you doing? I asked, already exhausted. Oh, I need space for my things, she said airily. There's plenty of room in your closet. I looked at Matt.
Say something.
Say something. He scratched his head. Mom, maybe we can put your things in the guest room. Linda gasped like he'd suggested she sleep in a barn. The guest room? You mean the tiny room? You want me crammed in there like an animal? I pinched the bridge of my nose. Linda, it's a perfectly fine room. She huffed. I guess I'll manage, she muttered, dragging her clothes dramatically out of my dresser. I just didn't think I'd be treated this coldly in my own son's home. Oh, I could already feel my blood pressure rising. The next morning, I walked into the kitchen, and everything was different. Linda had rearranged everything. My spices?
Moved.
My dishes? Relocated. My coffee maker? Unplugged and shoved into a cabinet because caffeine is bad for digestion. I stood there in horror, gripping the counter like a crime scene investigator. Linda breezed in, beaming. "Oh, good morning. I fixed your kitchen." I blinked. "Fixed." My voice was dangerously calm. She waved a hand. "It was so cluttered before. You young girls never know how to organize properly." I took a very deep breath. "Linda, do not touch my kitchen again." She pursed her lips. "Well, that's ungrateful." I was about to lose my mind. The worst part? The little game she started playing. She would wait until Matt got home from work, then suddenly let out these dramatic sighs. "Oh, Matthew, I tried to help Emily today, but she's so territorial. I just don't feel welcome here." And, of course, Matt, my soft-hearted, conflict-avoiding husband, would immediately go into damage control. Come on," he said one night after she loudly moped through dinner. "She's just trying to help." "She's not helping," I snapped. "She's taking over." Linda gasped. "You hate me." I groaned. "I don't hate you, Linda. I just don't appreciate you rearranging my entire home without asking." She sniffled. "I'm just so sorry. I tried to make this place livable." And, like clockwork, Matt sighed, rubbing his temples. "Can you two just try to get along?" I wanted to scream, because she knew exactly what she was doing, and I was stuck with her, for who knows how long. And somehow, I knew this was only the beginning. I've put up with a lot from Linda. The passive-aggressive comments, the favoritism, the constant attempts to insert herself into our marriage. But this was the moment I realized she wasn't just an overbearing mother-in-law. She was my enemy. One morning, I got up, went to grab my favorite coffee mug, the one that got me for our anniversary, and it was gone. "Honey, have you seen my mug?" I asked, already searching the cabinets. Linda, casually sipping tea at my kitchen table, smiled. "Oh, that old thing? It had a crack in it, so I threw it away." I froze. "You what?" She took another sip, completely unbothered. "It was cheap-looking anyway. I replaced it with one of mine." I turned and saw some ugly floral monstrosity sitting where my mug used to be. Okay, deep breaths. It's just a mug. But I knew. She did it just to spite me. And she wasn't done. That afternoon, I got a text from my bank about an unusual transaction. My personal account, the one I use for savings, showed a withdrawal. A big one. I checked my banking app, $500 gone. I ran to the living room.
"Matt."
"Did you take money out of my account?" He blinked at me, confused.
"No."
"Why?" That's when I heard the soft clink of jewelry. I turned my head slowly, and there she was, Linda, standing there, admiring a brand new bracelet on her wrist. A bracelet that looked exactly like the one I'd been eyeing online last week.
"No. No, no, no."
I took a step forward, my voice dangerously calm. "Linda, did you take money from my account?" She didn't even flinch. "Oh, don't be so dramatic. I just borrowed a little." I saw red. "You stole from me." Linda scoffed. "It's not stealing if it's family, Emily." I could barely form words. "You had to know, right?" She waved me off like I was some whining child. "It's not a big deal. I was going to pay you back." "With what money?" I snapped. She just smiled. And that's when Matt, sweet, spineless Matt, finally grew a backbone. "Mom," he said, his voice quiet but firm, "you can't do that." Linda blinked at him, like the thought had never even crossed her mind. "Matthew, I raised you. I gave you everything. I have nothing now. And you're choosing her over me?"
"Oh, my God."
She was actually guilt-tripping him. I grabbed my phone. "I'm calling the bank. I'm reporting the fraud." And that was when she lost it. "You ungrateful little witch," she snarled. "After everything I've done for this family, this is how you treat me?" And right there, in my own damn living room, She threw the bracelet on the ground, crossed her arms, and muttered, asterisk, maybe I should just leave and never come back. Maybe then you'll asterisk realize what you've lost. Matt looked panicked. Mom, no one's saying you have to. I cut in.
No, Matt.
Let her go. If she wants to leave, she can go right now. Linda's face twisted. She wasn't expecting me to call her bluff. There was a heavy silence. Then she huffed, picked up the bracelet, and stormed off to the guest room, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I just stood there, shaking with rage. Matt ran a hand through his hair.
Jesus.
I turned to him, heart pounding.
Matt.
She stole from me. He let out a long sigh. I know. I don't know how to handle her. I took a deep breath. You better figure it out. Because one thing was clear. This woman had just declared war. And I wasn't going down without a fight. You ever feel like you're living in a bad movie? Because that's exactly how I felt when Linda pulled her next stunt. It started with an innocent little announcement over breakfast. Linda sighed dramatically, stirring her tea like she was preparing to drop some devastating news. I can't believe this. I didn't take the bait. Believe what? She pressed a hand to her chest. My ring. The one my late husband gave me. It's missing. I froze mid-bite. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Matt, oblivious as ever, just mumbled. Maybe you misplaced it, Mom. She sighed again, even louder this time.
No, Matthew.
I always keep it in my jewelry box. And now it's gone. I could already feel the setup coming. Linda turned to me. Emily, you were in my room yesterday, weren't you? My fork hit my plate with a clatter. Are you seriously accusing me of stealing your ring? She gasped, looking shocked that I would even suggest such a thing. I never said that. But now that you mention it, you were in my room, weren't you? Oh, she was good. I folded my arms. Yeah, I walked in for 2 seconds to grab the laundry basket. That's not stealing. She let out a heartbroken sigh, shaking her head. I don't want to believe anyone in this house would take it. But if the ring doesn't turn up, I'll have no choice but to file a police report. Matt sat up straighter. Mom, don't be ridiculous. She sniffled. Matthew, that ring is priceless. If someone did take it, they should just return it now before this gets worse. I stood up, furious. This is a setup. You lost it, and now you're trying to pin it on me. Linda let out the softest, most condescending sigh.
Oh, sweetheart.
If you're innocent, why are you so defensive? I wanted to launch my coffee mug across the room. Then, like some twisted miracle, Linda gasped.
Wait.
What's that? I turned to see her pointing at the couch. She dramatically walked over, bent down, and pulled out a tiny velvet ring box. I knew what was coming before she even opened it. And sure enough, inside was her ring. And the box? It was one of mine. Linda's face crumpled in disappointment. Oh, Emily. Matt shot up. What the hell? His eyes flicked to me, confused, doubtful.
No. No, no.
I rounded on Linda. You planted that there. She gasped. I did not. I just found it right here, under the couch. And it's in your box. Matt turned to me, his face full of hesitation. I could see it in his eyes. He didn't want to believe it, but I clenched my fists. Matt, you know I didn't take it.
He swallowed hard.
I just don't understand how it got in your jewelry box.
Oh.
Oh, that hurt. Linda shook her head. I'm not angry, Emily. I just wish you had come to me first. I almost lunged at her. I didn't take your stupid ring. She flinched back like I had hit her. Matthew, do you see how she's acting? Matt rubbed his temples. Just let's all take a breath. A breath? I was seething. She is lying, Matt. Linda sniffled, pocketing the ring. I just don't feel safe here anymore. And that was it. That was the moment I realized she had won this round. Because Matt didn't argue. He just stood there looking between us, unsure. And that doubt, that little seed she planted, that was all she needed. After the ring incident, things between Matt and me were tense. He kept saying he just needed time to process everything, while I was still reeling from the fact that my own husband had doubted me. And Linda? Oh, she was thriving. Smug little smiles. Extra sweetness when Matt was around. Even her footsteps down the hall felt smug. I was one more passive-aggressive sigh away from losing it. And then one night, I overheard something that made my blood run cold. I had gone to the kitchen for some water when I heard voices from the living room.
Matt.
Linda. I should have walked away. I know I should have. But then I heard my name, and I froze. I stayed by the hallway, heart pounding, and listened. Matt sighed. Mom, can we not do this tonight? Linda, in her best concerned mother voice, murmured, I just worry about you, Matthew. I worry about your future. Oh, here we go. I have a future, Mom, he muttered. With Emily. There was a heavy pause. Then Linda sighed. Matthew, to be honest with me, how long are you going to wait? Wait for what? For a baby, of course. I clenched my fists. Matt groaned. Mom, stop. She pressed on, her voice sickly sweet. I just don't understand, sweetheart. You and Emily have been married for 5 years. That's plenty of time. Matt let out a long breath. Mom, drop it. But she didn't. Instead, her voice dropped to a whisper. Matthew, be honest. Can she even give you children? I felt my entire body lock up. Matt hesitated. And then, in a voice so quiet I barely heard it, he said, No. I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. Linda inhaled sharply, like she had just uncovered a horrible secret. Oh, honey, I covered my mouth, heart pounding. He had never said it out loud before.
We never talked about it like that.
I had wanted kids, I really did. But after years of trying, tests, and doctors telling me it would never happen, I had accepted it. Grieved it. Matt and I had agreed to keep it private. But here he was, spilling it all to his mother. Like it was some dirty little secret. Linda sighed. Oh, sweetheart. That's a lot to carry. Matt groaned. Mom, please. But Linda was already on a roll. This is exactly what I was afraid of, she said, voice full of fake sympathy. You're a good man, Matthew. You deserve a legacy. A family. Matt rubbed his face. Mom, stop. But she leaned in closer. I could hear it in her voice. You need to think about your future, sweetheart. Matt sighed.
I have.
No, you haven't, Linda said firmly. You need to be honest with yourself. Are you really going to waste your life on a woman who can't give you what you deserve? I swear to God. I almost walked in there and threw something at her. Matt's voice was low. I love Emily. Linda scoffed. Oh, love, she said, like it was a dirty word. Love doesn't give you children, Matthew. Love doesn't build a future. Silence. Then, in a voice so calm it sent shivers down my spine, she said, You need to think about finding someone who can give you a child. I thought I had been angry before. I had no idea what real anger was. I turned and walked back to our bedroom, my hands shaking. This woman wasn't just trying to turn Matt against me. She wanted me gone. And now, I had to figure out what the hell I was going to do about it. I should have known Linda wasn't done. The woman was like a cockroach. No matter how many times you thought you'd squash the problem, she always found a way back. After hearing her whisper in Matt's ear about how he should leave me for someone who could give him kids, I was already on high alert. I knew she was up to something. I just didn't expect her to bring reinforcements. It was a Friday evening. I had just gotten home from work, exhausted, when I opened the door and froze. Sitting on my couch in my living room was a woman I hadn't seen in years.
Ashley.
Matt's ex-girlfriend from college. The one Linda had always gushed about. The one she'd once called the perfect girl for Matthew. I stood there, stunned, still in the doorway when Linda breezed in from the kitchen, smiling like the cat that ate the canary. Oh, Emily, you're home, she sang. Look who just happened to be in town. Matt stood awkwardly beside the couch, rubbing the back of his neck.
Yeah.
Ashley reached out, and Mom invited her over. My blood boiled. Linda invited her. Of course she did. Ashley stood up, flashing me a perfectly practiced smile. Emily. Wow, it's been so long. I forced a smile. Yeah, it has. Linda beamed, like this was all so normal. Isn't it wonderful? The two of them were so close in college. Oh, the memories. I clenched my jaw.
I bet.
Dinner was a nightmare. Linda spent the entire time gushing about Matt in a way that made my stomach churn. Oh, Ashley, do you remember how dedicated Matthew was to his studies? Always so hardworking, so driven. Ashley giggled. Oh, of course. He was always so responsible. Linda sighed dreamily. And so thoughtful, too. Always took care of the people he loved. I gripped my fork so hard I thought it might snap. Matt just chuckled awkwardly, trying to deflect the attention. But Linda? Oh, she wasn't done. And Ashley, dear, Linda continued, giving her a sickly sweet smile, you must tell us what you've been up to. Ashley flipped her hair. Oh, just thriving. Got my master's, started my own business, and I volunteer on the weekends. Just keeping busy. Linda gasped like she'd just heard the greatest news in the world. Oh, how inspiring. A real go-getter. Isn't she impressive, Matthew? I nearly choked on my food. She wasn't even being subtle anymore. Matt, oblivious as ever, just nodded. Yeah, that's great, Ash. Then Linda turned to me, her smile turning just a bit sharper. And Emily, dear, remind me, what is it you do again? Oh, this witch. I set my fork down slowly. I work full-time, Linda. You know this. She let out a dramatic sigh. Yes, but with your schedule, how do you possibly have time for, I don't know, a family? My stomach dropped. Ashley glanced at me, feigning innocence.
Oh,
you two don't have kids yet. Linda clicked her tongue.
no, unfortunately.
It's such a shame, isn't it? I felt rage bubbling up inside me. But Linda wasn't done. She turned to Matt with a wistful look. You always wanted a big family, didn't you, sweetheart? Matt shifted in his seat, clearly uncomfortable. Yeah, we've talked about it. Linda sighed. Yes, but talking doesn't make miracles happen. I nearly stood up and flipped the damn table. Ashley, playing right into Linda's game, tilted her head. That's true. I always imagined Matt would be such an amazing dad. Linda clasped her hands together. Oh, wouldn't he? He's always been so nurturing. Such a provider. I could not believe what I was hearing. Matt looked at me then, his face full of conflict. And I hated it, because I could see it, the doubt. The seed Linda had planted in him. And Ashley? She just smiled, like she knew exactly what was happening. After dinner, Linda and Ashley moved to the couch, laughing like old friends. I went to the kitchen pretending to clean, just so I wouldn't have to look at them. And then, I heard it. Linda's voice, low but clear. You know, dear, she said to Ashley, Matthew deserves someone who can give him everything. I froze. Ashley sighed dramatically. I always thought he would make the best father. Linda hummed. It's not too late, you know. He deserves a woman who can build a real family with him. I gripped the counter so hard my knuckles went white. Matt didn't say anything. Not one damn word. That was it. I marched into the living room, my heart pounding. Linda and Ashley looked up, all innocence and smiles. I turned to Matt. A word. Now. Matt blinked. I grabbed his arm and pulled him into the bedroom, slamming the door shut behind us. You let her bring your ex-girlfriend into our house. I hissed. Matt sighed. Come on. Ashley's just visiting. It's not a big deal. I laughed bitterly. Not a big deal? Matt, she just sat there while your mother hinted that I wasn't good enough for you. He groaned. You're reading too much into it. I took a deep breath. Matt, do you want to be with me? He looked startled.
What?
Of course I do. Then you need to prove it, I snapped. Because right now, your mother is actively trying to replace me. He ran a hand through his hair. Emily, it's not that simple. Yes, it is. I cut him off. You either stand by me, or you let her ruin our marriage. Silence. Then, a knock on the door. Linda's chirpy voice called out, "Everything okay in there?" I glared at the door, then at Matt. This was it. He had to choose. And I wasn't going to wait forever. There are bad days. And then there are what the actual hell is happening days. That was me, standing in my own damn living room, watching my husband's ex-girlfriend set up her overnight bag like she was settling in for a long weekend.
Ashley was
Moving.
in.
Oh, it's just for a few nights, Linda had cooed, patting my arm like I was some idiot who didn't see what was happening. She's in between apartments right now, and family helps each other. Family? I turned to Matt, fully expecting him to tell me this was a joke. That he did not, in fact, agree to let his ex crash with us. But no. He just shrugged like a dumb golden retriever. It's temporary, I wanted to grab a frying pan and introduce it to his face. Ashley makes herself at home. Within an hour, Ashley had already claimed the coziest spot on the couch, moved her toiletries into our bathroom, taken a long shower using my expensive shampoo, casually started calling Matt Maddie. "Maddie, do you still drink your coffee black?" she asked sweetly the next morning, handing him a cup like some perfect little housewife in training. Linda beamed. "Oh, she remembers the little things. Isn't that sweet, Matthew?" I nearly broke the kitchen counter with how hard I gripped it. Then, as if this wasn't already the worst morning of my life, Linda turned to me. "Emily, dear," she said, her voice dripping with fake politeness, "you don't mind Ashley borrowing your car today, do you?" I choked on my coffee. "I'm sorry, what?" Ashley giggled. "Oh, I just have some errands to run, and I figured since you work from home, you wouldn't need it today."
I ser det her.
Then at Linda. Then at Matt, waiting for him to tell them both to sit the hell down. Matt rubbed the back of his neck. "I mean, you don't drive much during the day, babe." I slammed my mug down. "Absolutely not." Linda sighed dramatically. "Oh, Emily, it's just a car. Don't be so selfish." I clenched my jaw so hard my teeth hurt. "Linda, I don't share my car with strangers." Ashley pouted. "I'm not a stranger. I've known Maddie longer than you have."
Oh.
"Oh, this bitch." I smiled sweetly. "And yet, I'm the one he married." Linda's face twitched. Ashley went quiet. Matt muttered something under his breath, but at that point, I didn't care. That night, after hours of Linda and Ashley fawning over Matt like he was some damn Greek god, I decided I needed proof of what was happening under my own roof. So while Matt was in the shower and Linda was cackling with Ashley over wine, I installed hidden cameras in the living room and kitchen. Just tiny ones, barely noticeable. Not because I needed to prove I was right, I already knew I was right, but because I needed evidence for what I was about to do next. And let me tell you, those cameras caught gold. The secret recording. The next morning, I scrolled through the footage while pretending to check emails. And that's when I saw it. Linda and Ashley sitting on my couch, whispering like two high school bullies. Ashley. "She's still not breaking, huh?" Linda sighs dramatically.
Not yet.
"But we just need to push her a little further." Ashley. "I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping Matt company if she leaves. He was always so easy to." She trailed off with a giggle. I paused the video.
Oh. Oh, wow.
Linda. "I knew you were perfect for him. Emily is so stubborn. But if she starts thinking Matt isn't loyal, she'll be out of here." Ashley. Smirking. "So, should we plant something?" "Plant something?" I fast-forwarded. A few minutes later, Ashley pulled a lacy red bra out of her purse and waved it around like a trophy. Ashley. Giggling. "This should do the trick." Linda. Nodding approvingly. "You always were a smart girl." I sat back, heart pounding. They weren't just trying to push me out. They were about to frame Matt for cheating, which meant it was time to set my own trap. The setup in motion. By lunchtime, Ashley had left for errands. Matt had driven off to work. Linda was in her room, probably scheming.
Perfect.
Step 1. I went out to Matt's car. Found exactly what I was expecting. Ashley's bright red bra, shoved under the passenger seat. Too easy. Step 2. I faked the breakdown. When Matt got home that night, I went full tragic wife mode. I stormed into the living room, holding up Ashley's bra like I had just discovered a deep, personal betrayal. Matt, I said, my voice trembling. What the hell is this? Matt's face went pale. Wait, what? That's not. Where did you? I threw it at his chest. You tell me. Linda, sitting smugly on the couch, lit up like a Christmas tree. Oh, dear, she murmured, pressing a hand to her chest. Matt, how could you? I almost laughed. She really thought she won this round. Too bad for her. I was just getting started. Matt stood there, holding the red bra, his face shifting from confusion to panic. I don't know how this got in my car, he stammered. Linda let out a long, exaggerated sigh from the couch, shaking her head. After everything Emily has done for you. Ashley, who had conveniently walked in just in time, gasped and pressed a hand to her chest. Oh no, Matt, you didn't. Matt turned to her, confused. This isn't yours, right? Ashley hesitated, just enough to seem like she was debating whether to lie, then whispered. I mean, I do have one like that, but… Linda inhaled sharply, as if she had just witnessed a devastating betrayal. Oh, Matthew. How could you? And that's when I knew I had them exactly where I wanted them. I turned to Matt, putting on my best heartbroken face. I can't believe this, I whispered. Matt panicked. Emily, I swear, I have no idea how that got there. Ashley sighed dramatically, acting as if she were reluctantly stepping into a messy situation. Matt, just be honest. If you two are having problems, you can tell us. Linda placed a gentle hand on my arm, her voice dripping with false sympathy. Sweetheart, maybe it's time to accept that Matthew isn't the man you thought he was. I almost burst out laughing. She really thought she had won. I let out a shaky breath, pretending to crumble under the weight of it all. Maybe you're right, I whispered. Matt's face fell apart.
Ingno.
Please. Ashley bit her lip, clearly trying not to smile. Linda gave a little nod, like she was proud of me for finally seeing the light. And then, just as Linda opened her mouth to really twist the knife, I pulled out my phone and hit play. Ashley's voice filled the room. So, should we plant something? The air shifted. Linda's smug smile froze. Ashley's face drained of color. Matt's eyes flicked between them, completely lost. Then came the next part, Ashley giggling. This should do the trick. Linda approving. You always were a smart girl. Silence. Beautiful, damning silence. Matt turned to Linda. Then to Ashley. Then back to Linda. What the hell is this? His voice was barely above a whisper. Linda blinked rapidly, scrambling for words. Ashley actually started shaking. I held up my phone. Should I keep going? Because there's plenty more. Linda's face twitched. You recorded us? I raised an eyebrow. Gee, I wonder why I'd feel the need to do that, Linda. Matt looked sick. Mom, tell me this isn't real. Linda opened her mouth, then clamped it shut. She turned to Ashley, as if searching for a way out. Ashley, however, was already edging toward the door. I just remembered, I left something in my car.
I pointed ahead.
You stay right there. She froze. Matt dragged a hand down his face.
Mom.
Ashley, you framed my wife. Linda snapped. I was trying to help you, Matthew. Matt flinched, like he'd been slapped. Ashley let out a nervous laugh. Linda, this wasn't a plan? I grinned. Oh, this was better than I ever could have planned. Matt turned to me, his voice weak. Emily, I held up a hand.
No.
We're done, Matt. His face crumpled. No, wait. I turned to Linda and Ashley. And you too? Get out. Linda shrieked. You can't just… I pulled a set of papers out of my pocket and tossed them onto the coffee table. Ashley squinted. What's that? I smiled. That, sweetheart, is an eviction notice. Linda's jaw dropped. What? I folded my arms. I sued for full ownership of this house. And guess what? I won. Linda made a horrible choking noise. No, no, this isn't happening. I gestured toward the front door. You have 1 hour to pack before I call the cops. Ashley bolted for the door. I'm not going to be part of this. Linda screeched after her. You traitor. Matt just stood there, looking at me like his entire world had just collapsed. He whispered, please. I can fix this. I tilted my head. Oh, you can fix this. He nodded frantically. Yes. I was stupid, I was weak, but I smiled. Then tossed the divorce papers at him. He caught them, looked down, and his face went completely blank.
No.
Oh, yes. Linda was on the verge of a meltdown. Matthew, stop her. Matt looked back at me, desperate. Emily, don't do this. I leaned in. I already did. I walked to the front door, opened it, and waited. Linda stomped her foot. I am your mother, Matthew. Ashley was already gone. And Matt? He looked down at the papers in his hands. Then, for the first time in his entire life, he turned to Linda and said, Mom. Let's go. Linda's face twisted in disbelief. Wah. Matt let out a long, exhausted sigh. Just let's go. Linda's mouth opened and closed, but she saw it in his face. He wasn't fighting anymore. She let out a guttural scream, grabbed her suitcase, and stormed out. Matt followed, and I shut the door behind them. I stood in my empty house. My house. Then, without hesitation, I grabbed my phone, opened a playlist, and hit play. Beyoncé's Irreplaceable blasted through the speakers. I danced. I laughed. And for the first time in years, I felt free.